Welcome back. Next, we're getting inside info from the experts at Coldwell Banker.
Buying a home can be one of the biggest investments you're ever going to make, but for first-time home buyers, the process can be overwhelming. But never fear, I'm here with my friend Ron Iosa from Coldwell Banker. Good to see you.
You too, George. Good to see you.
Now, when starting out, you're trying to figure out where on earth am I going to move my family, where am I going to buy that house? How does one even get started?
Well, there's so much that goes into a search, but you said a key word, family.
Family, okay.
So if I have a family, the most important part of my search is the school district. Now, there's plenty of very good school districts all throughout every state. What I want to do is I want to narrow that down, maybe 3 or 4 great school districts where I want to raise my family. The second thing, my price. Very important topic. Now, I probably went and got pre-approved for a mortgage, so I know what I can comfortably afford. That means I'm not going to go to one of those towns and search from $300,000 to $3 million. I'm going to hone in on what I can comfortably afford, and that is where I'm going to search.
Now, Ronnie, finding the right home is so much more than just purchasing a house. You have to make sure that the street, the neighborhood, the community are all part of something you want to be living in.
You really do, George. You know, we spoke earlier about children. Can they go outside and play with their friends, ride their bikes, get to the ball field quickly? Or do I have to jump in the car each and every time they want to go play with their friends? Very, very important.
And not just the kids, the parents, if they're commuters.
Do I want to take public transportation? How far am I from my highways? Then finally, how's about just basic conveniences? If I'm tucked away in the hills and I have to drive 30 minutes for a gallon of milk, is that really the neighborhood I want to live in?
Now, when it comes to finding the right house itself, I understand you're supposed to look at a bunch of different options, but if this was the first place I saw, how could I not fall in love with this? It's phenomenal.
It really is, George. And honestly, if this was the first place I looked at, I would probably fall in love too. But what's important is not that I simply fall in love with this amazing pool, but as long as everything else about the home is right.
You don't want to be blinded by the light, you know, all the bells and whistles, and then find out that the foundation itself is crumbling.
That's why hiring the right home inspector to investigate that home is so important, to know that my bones, my structure, my foundation is really just as good as the facade that I see.
So you would recommend, once you find the right house, definitely getting a home inspector to come and check it out?
I would never buy a house without it.
Now, a common mistake I hear people making is they walk through a house and they fall in love with the decor, the decorations, not realizing that when they buy the house, all that is gone.
It really is, George. Now, don't get me wrong. I can negotiate certain things to stay with the home, window treatments, things like that. But for the most part, this stuff is all gone. So what I need to do is I need to love the space. Now, I'm going to tell you about another grave mistake that people make. They talk about furniture and what I already have. I cannot buy a home based upon the furniture that I currently have. You can always sell your furniture. Don't try to buy a house based upon what you already have. Big mistake.
Ron, any other tips potential home buyers should know before they make that purchase?
Do not bring in too many outside influences. George, I've seen this happen so many times, where the buyer comes in with mom, dad, aunt, uncle, sister, cousin, brother, co-worker, whatever it may be, and now their decision is clouded. Too many different opinions.
And when it's all said and done, it's you and your family that are going to be living there. So really, it's just important that you love it, not everybody else.
That's right. This is your investment.
Ron, thank you so much for all the great tips and advice.
Thanks for having me again, George.
Anytime.